Hello students, a very good morning to all of you. Welcome to Easy Science YouTube channel. So in this channel, I will explain about the detailed concept of general science, which is very useful for all competitive exams. So please subscribe to my Easy Science YouTube channel and click the bell icon so that you never miss an update from my channel. So today's topic is formed elements. That is, formed elements means the cells present inside the blood. So let's discuss about formed elements in this class. So blood is a connective tissue. Actually, it is a fluid connective tissue. Blood is called as a fluid connective tissue. So why we are calling blood as a connective tissue? So first discuss about that. In zygote. So what do you mean by zygote? The male and female reproductive cells like egg cell, sperm cell. Sperm cell fertilizes the egg cell and results in the formation of zygote, right? So zygote after some division get converted into embryo. In embryo you have three layers. Those layers are called as, see, blood is a connective tissue and especially it is called as a fluid connective tissue. What is the reason? So in the zygote we have three layers: ectodermal, mesodermal, endodermal. Ectodermal is the outermost layer, right? Mesodermal is the middle layer and endodermal is the innermost layer, right? So these are called as germ layers, and these three layers form different organs in the human body. Like ectoderm forms nervous system, teeth, hair, epidermis and skin, right? And mesoderm, it will form skeletal muscles, smooth muscles, blood vessels, blood, everything. And endodermal origin, we have stomach, intestine, lungs, liver, pancreas will be formed. So these three layers we called it as germ layers, which form different organs of our body, which forms different organs of our body. So blood is obtained from, blood is known as mesodermal in origin. Blood is known as mesodermal in origin and it connects all the organ systems by transporting oxygen, nutrients, hormone, etc. That's why blood is called as a connective tissue. And that it transported like digested fruit from the small intestine to other parts of the body, carries oxygen from the lungs to cells of the body, and it also transport waste from for removal from the body. So blood is a liquid and which has various kinds of cells. It is a liquid which contains various kinds of cells. And the fluid part of the blood, we call it as plasma. This is an important question. That is, the fluid part of the blood is called as plasma. Right. And the types of cells. How many types of cells are present? There are three types of cells. One is red blood cells. The second one is white blood cells. And the third one is platelets. RBC, they are red in color due to contain a red pigment called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, like the heme part is known as iron part and globin is known as the protein part. Globin is known as the protein part. So two parts are present hemoglobin. This pigment, it is an oxygen carrier. Hemoglobin can combine with oxygen and forms as oxyhemoglobin and transport oxygen to different parts of the body. So as hemoglobin is present, the red blood like RBCR, like erythrocytes. RBC are called as erythrocytes. They are red in color, right? And blood has white blood cells. They are colorless, right? They are called as leucoplasts. They fight against the germs which may enter into our body. And the last type of cells are platelets, which are responsible for clotting of the blood. Platelets are responsible for blood clotting, right? Right. Let us discuss about the cells in detail. And plasma. Like plasma is a straw colored viscous liquid consisting of nearly 55% of the blood. Plasma contains 55% of the blood. 90 to 92% of the plasma is water and proteins contribute for 6 to 8% of it. Right. So 55% blood is present. So remaining, we are discussing about the remaining. So total 90 to 90% of plasma contains water. Proteins are 6 to 8%. So what are the proteins present is fibrinogen, globulins, albumins are the major proteins. Right. So fibrinogens, these proteins are necessary for clotting of the blood. And globulins are primarily involved in the defense mechanism of the body. See, whenever there like a disease causing organism or an antigen enters into our body, this globulins got triggered and release globulins and help in the defense mechanism of the body. Albumins, they help in maintaining osmotic balance. Ion concentration, water concentration will be maintained in our body through albumins. And it also contains, plasma also contains some amount of minerals like sodium, calcium, magnesium, bicarbonates, chloride ions, etc. Glucose, amino acids, lipids, etc. are also present in the plasma as they are always in transit in the body. So factors coagulation or clotting of the blood are present in the plasma in an inactive form. See, plasma we already discussed, fibrinogens are present, right? So prothrombin also there. So these factors will be present in the plasma in an inactive stage. Whenever there is an injury, they get converted into active form in the presence of calcium ions and some enzymes also. So plasma without this clotting factors, we called it as serum. Clotting factors, without clotting factors, plasma we called it as serum. So what we discussed about plasma is a straw colored fluid. 55% of blood is present. 90 to 92% of plasma contains water. 6 to 8% proteins are present. So what are the proteins present inside the plasma? They are fibrinogen, globulins, albumins, are the major proteins. And you know, fibrinogens are responsible for blood clotting. Globulins maintain, they are involved in the defense mechanism which helping the white blood cells present in the blood, and albumins helps in main osmotic balance. And even small amounts of nutrients like minerals or nutrients are also present. The minerals are sodium, calcium, magnesium, bicarbonate and chloride ions, and the nutrients are glucose, amino acids, lipids. And the factors which are responsible for coagulation, nearly 14 factors are responsible for coagulation of blood, right? And these factors will be present in the plasma in an inactive form. When there is an injury, they get converted into active form. And plasma without these clotting factors, we call it as serum. Remember this, they are called as, that is called as serum. So just discuss about the cells of the blood. So we have totally three types of cells. They are erythrocytes, leukocytes, platelets, together called as formed elements. Erythrocytes, leukocytes and platelets, all together we collectively called as formed elements, and they constitute about 45% of the blood. Total blood contains 45% of the cells. So just discuss about each cells of the blood. So I said three types of cells are present. These three cells together we called it as formed elements. And formed elements contribute about 45% of the blood. Formed elements contribute about 45% of the blood. So just discuss about RBC, red blood cells. RBC stands for red blood cells and they are also called as erythrocytes. And these are the most abundant cells present in the blood. See, erythrocytes, leukocytes and platelets, together we called it as formed elements and they constitute about 45% of the blood, right? In all the three cells, the erythrocytes are the most abundant of all the cells. And a healthy adult man has an average of 5 million to 5.5 million of RBC per cubic millimeter of blood. And for women, it is 4.5 to 5 millions. So a healthy adult man has about 5 million to 5.5 million of RBC per cubic millimeter of blood, and a woman has 4.5 to 5 millions of RBC per cubic millimeter of the blood. And RBC are formed in red bone marrow. See, we have two types of bone marrows. One is red bone marrow and other one is yellow bone marrow. Red bone marrow is also called as myeloid tissue, and RBC are formed from red bone marrow. Yellow bone marrow, from yellow bone marrow, WBC, white blood cells are formed. Its color, it is yellow in color due to having high quantity of fats, like higher number of fat cells are present in yellow bone marrow. That's why it appears to be in yellow color, right? And they are like RBC are red in color because they have an iron containing complex protein called hemoglobin, hence the color and the name of the cells, erythrocytes. They are red in color because of having the pigment, red color pigment called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is an iron containing complex protein. So the metal which is present in the hemoglobin is called as iron. Again, that's an important question. The metal which is present in the blood pigment is called iron, right? So RBC have an average of lifespan of 120 days. After 120 days, they were died and they were destroyed and enter into the spleen. Like after entering into the spleen, they are destroyed. That's why the spleen is called as the graveyard of RBC. So RBC are formed from red bone marrow and their lifespan is 120 days. After 120 days, they enter into the spleen and get destroyed. That's why spleen is called as the graveyard of RBC. Spleen is the largest gland in the lymph. Let's discuss that one also. So the next one is white blood cells. Now what we discussed about erythrocytes. Erythrocytes, RBC, red blood cells. They are most abundant of all the cells, of all the formed elements in the blood. Right. On an average, an healthy adult man has 5 to 5.5 millions of RBC per cubic millimeter of the blood, and a woman has 4.5 to 5 million of RBC per cubic millimeter of the blood. And they were formed in the bone marrow. That too they are formed in the red bone marrow. Red bone marrow is also called as myeloid tissue. And even if we have an yellow bone marrow also, from yellow bone marrow, WBC, white blood cells are formed. The color is due to large number of fat cells. And RBC are red in color due to having the red color pigment called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a iron containing, right? It's iron containing complex protein. And RBC have a lifespan of 120 days. After 120 days, they were destroyed inside the spleen. That's why the spleen is called as the graveyard of RBC. Right. Next, let us discuss about WBC. WBC are also called as leukocytes. They are also called as leukocytes and they are colorless as they do not have the pigment hemoglobin and they are nucleated. And one more point, RBC they don't have any nucleus, right? There are some exceptions that some of the cells some of the organisms have the nucleated RBC. They are fetus, like newborn babies have nucleated RBC, snakes have nucleated RBC, birds, reptiles have nucleated RBC, and even camel also have the nucleated RBC. This is an exceptional case. Generally, RBC do not have nucleus, but we have to remember the exceptional cases because like questions are going to be asked, mostly the questions are going to be asked from the exceptional cases. Fetus, after the 3 months of fertilization, the zygote is called as fetus. Inside the fetus, the RBC are nucleated. Even birds and reptiles also have the nucleated RBC and even camels also have the nucleated RBC. So, WBC are nucleated and they were relatively lesser in number. Like when compared to the RBC, WBC are very less in number, which averages about 6,000 to 8,000 per cubic millimeter of the blood. See, large difference is there because RBC are 5 to 5.5 millions. But these are just 6,000 to 8,000 per cubic millimeter of the blood, and leukocytes are generally short-lived. Even RBC 120 days, but these are not that much also, very short-lived. And we have totally two main categories of WBC. We have totally two categories of WBC. They are granulocytes and agranulocytes. Right. Leukocytes are WBC have given the name because they are colorless. They don't have the pigment, red color pigment hemoglobin. That's why they are colorless. They are nucleated. They are very less in number. When compared to RBC, they are very less in number. And the number is 6,000 to 8,000 cubic millimeter of the blood. And they are generally short-lived, and we have mainly two categories of WBC. They are granulocytes and agranulocytes. So just discuss about the different types of WBC. The main function of WBC is like it provides immune system to our body. The main function of RBC is to carry oxygen to each and every cell and to carry the digested food to each and every cell of our body. And what is the function of WBC is they are responsible for immune system of our body. WBC are responsible for immune system of our body. So we have two types of WBC. They are granulocytes and agranulocytes. So just discuss about granulocytes and agranulocytes. Neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils. Granulocytes, three types of cells are there. They are neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils. Right. These three are different types of granulocytes, and agranulocytes are of two types. They are lymphocytes and monocytes. Right. So, about these cells we'll discuss. Neutrophils, they are granulocytes. Neutrophils are the most abundant of the white blood cells. See, WBC only less in number, that is 6,000 to 8,000 per cubic millimeter of blood. In that the neutrophils are highest in number, that is they contribute about 60 to 65% of the WBC, and basophils are very less abundant, that is 0.5 to 1%. Neutrophils are most abundant and basophils are very less abundant. Both are granulocytes only. And what is the function of these cells? Just discuss. Neutrophils and monocytes. Neutrophils belong to granulocytes. Monocytes belongs to agranulocytes. And these two are phagocytic cells. What do you mean by phagocytic action? Phagocytic action means they eat away the foreign organisms that enter into our body. That is why they are called phagocytic cells. And they are the first line of defense in our body. Right. Next one, basophils. Basophils secrete some proteins like histamine, serotonin, heparin, etc., which are involved in inflammatory actions. Right. See, what do you mean by inflammatory reactions? See, whenever an antigen enters into our body, which can destroy any tissue or something, right, that can be expressed. How it can be expressed? That can be expressed in the form of inflammation. So they will show these inflammatory reactions. Which cells? Basophils will show these inflammatory reactions. Right. Next, eosinophils we have. Eosinophils, they resist infections. And like whenever it will not allow any organisms, like any foreign organism that enter into our body, that's why they resist infections. And they also associated with allergic reactions. That means allergic reactions means like any foreign organism or disease causing germ enter into our body, that will be shown in the form of allergic reaction like cold, cough. Those are allergic reactions that indicating that some foreign organism has entered into our body. That was done by eosinophils, right? So basophils, mainly they are involved in inflammatory reactions, like whenever an antigen enters into our body. So what do you mean by an antigen? Antigen means a disease causing organism. If it enters into our body, then what will happen? Say it will destroy any tissues, right? That how can we know that it destroys our tissues? Means by inflammation, right? So that inflammatory reactions are produced by basophils. Eosinophils will resist infections, and they also associated with allergic reactions also. Lymphocytes, they were 20 to 25%, right? Or they are of major two types of lymphocytes are present, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. Both are responsible for immune response our body, like produce antibodies and fight against the antigens that enter into our body. So that's about the function of all the cells, right? So now like what we discussed in white blood cells, just once we'll revise that, right? White blood cells are also called as leukocytes, right? Because they are colorless, because they don't have the red color pigment, and they are mostly nucleated, and they were lesser in number when compared to RBC. They were lesser in number, so which averages from 6,000 to 8,000 per cubic millimeter of the blood. And leukocytes are generally, they are short lived, and we have two main categories of leukocytes. They are granulocytes and agranulocytes. And granulocytes, we have neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils. These are granulocytes, and agranulocytes, we have lymphocytes and monocytes. And this neutrophils are most abundant of all WBC, and basophils are less abundant of all WBC. Neutrophils and monocytes together show phagocytic action. Like whenever a foreign organism enter into our body, they will eat away that phagocytic cells, right? And what about basophils? Basophils show inflammatory reactions, and eosinophils, they resist infections. And also, if the foreign organism, even after the resistance also foreign organism enter into our body, it will show some allergic reactions. Lymphocytes, 20 to 25% are present, right? And second most abundant after neutrophils, what are the second most abundant is lymphocytes. There are two major types, B and T lymphocytes. Most probably they were responsible for immune system, like immune response of our body. So these are like, this is the main line of immune system, lymphocytes, because they produce antibodies against the antigens, which fight with the antigens and kill the antigens that enter into our body. That is about WBC. Platelets are also called as thrombocytes, and are cell fragments produced by megakaryocytes. They are the special cells in the bone marrow. Megakaryocytes are the thrombocytes are formed from megakaryocytes, and these are the special cells present in the bone marrow. So what we discussed is all the formed elements of the blood are like they are formed from bone marrow only. Blood normally contains 1,50,000 to 3,50,000 of platelets per cubic millimeter, and they are responsible for coagulation of the blood. What is the main function is they are responsible for coagulation or clotting of the blood, right? So now what we discussed is about the cells of the blood, right? Now next we'll discuss about, like this is the diagrammatic representation. This is the whole blood. Like blood is divided into two parts, like plasma and formed elements. Plasma is known as the liquid portion of the blood. The liquid portion of the blood is known as plasma, and the remaining is formed elements. We already discussed plasma is about 55% and formed elements are of 45%. And in this 55%, 91% is water and proteins are 7%. The proteins are albumins, globulins and fibrinogen. Right, fibrinogen is responsible for blood clotting, globulins are responsible for immune system, albumins are responsible for osmotic balance, and even some electrolytes are also present, like they are electrolytes we already discussed, right? Sodium, calcium, magnesium, bicarbonates, chlorides are present. Nutrients, we have carbohydrates, proteins like amino acids, fats are present. Some gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide present. Base vitamins are present. Regulatory substances are also present. Regulatory substances means mechanism of the body has to be regulate every time. Those substances are also present in the plasma. Right. Formed elements, we have three types of formed elements: red blood cells, platelets, and white blood cells. And red blood cells are like 5 to 5.5 millions per cubic millimeter. Platelets are 1,50,000 to 3,50,000, and white blood cells are 6,000 to 8,000. So the different types of white blood cells are granulocytes and agranulocytes. And granulocytes, we have neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. Agranulocytes are lymphocytes and monocytes. I said the second most abundant is lymphocytes, and the first most abundant is neutrophils, and the least abundant is basophils. It's 0.5 to 1%, right? So this is about plasma and formed elements. And protein 7% are present. Even that 7% proteins also, albumins are more 57%, which maintain the osmotic balance. What do you mean by osmotic balance? Ionic concentration and water concentration. Globulins are 38%. Fibrinogen, it is a protein which is necessary for blood clotting. Even prothrombin also responsible for blood clotting. And all these proteins are formed in the liver, and they enter into the plasma. All the proteins have formed from the liver. Like ions are present, nutrients, waste products, gases, regulatory substances, and these are the different types of leukocytes. Right. Next. And the next one is lymph. Lymph is also called as tissue fluid. Lymph is also called as tissue fluid. As the blood passes through the capillaries in tissues, some water along with the many small water soluble substances move out into the spaces between the cells of the tissues, leaving the larger proteins and most of the formed elements in the blood vessels. See, blood passes through the capillaries into tissues because blood has to be transport different substances. So through the capillaries it enter into the tissues. Some water along with many soluble substances move out into the spaces between the tissue, means what? Group of cells, right? So some water along with some substances will come out of the capillaries, come out of the cells and enter between the spaces between the cells, leaving the larger proteins and most of the formed elements in the blood vessels. Simple substances along with water will come out of the blood vessels, right? Again, this has to be sent into the blood vessel. So transport this water along with some substances, water soluble substances, again they have to be sent into the bloodstream, main bloodstream. So the liquid, the water along with some soluble substances come out from the blood vessel is known as interstitial fluid or tissue fluid, and this has to be again sent into the main bloodstream. So to send this tissue fluid to main bloodstream, we have a special system called lymphatic system. Alright. So the fluid present in the lymphatic system, we call it as blood. We have blood, right? Blood circulatory system, we have blood. Like that, lymphatic system, we have lymph. Lymph is a colorless fluid containing specialized lymphocytes. The cells present are known as lymphocytes, which are responsible for immune response of the body. Lymph is also an important carrier for nutrients, hormones, etc. Fats, like what are the nutrients that were absorbed by lymph are fats. Fats are absorbed through lymph in the lacteals. Like the lymph vessels present inside the villi are known as lacteals. The lymph cells present inside the villi of small intestine are known as lacteals. Through these cells, what nutrients are absorbed? Fats are absorbed. Right. So just discuss about the blood groups. Like we have totally blood groups are A, B, O. right? We have totally 4 blood groups, right? Like just discuss how this blood groups has formed first, right? So ABO blood group is based on the presence or absence of two surfaces, that is antigens. What are antigens? Antigens are chemicals that can induce the immune response. Induce means, antigens means what? Like foreign organism which can induce the immune response. They are like antigens in our body for blood grouping are A and B. And similarly, the plasma of different individuals contains two natural antibodies. What are antibodies? Antibodies are nothing but produced in response to the antigens. Like how these blood groups have formed, we'll discuss, right? You know, for every character in our body, there are two genes. A pair of alleles are present, a pair of genes are present. But for blood groups, we have three genes. Generally, we have two genes, but for blood groups, we have three genes. They are IA, IB, and the third one is small I. IA, IB, small I. We have three genes, right? So IA and IB are slightly, they have, they produce slightly different sugars, but this I will not produce any sugar, right? So what happens is, like during the formation of the gametes, meiosis occurs. Gametes are in haploid condition, right? They combine and form a diploid zygote. So during the process of fertilization, the zygote receives one from the father and one from the mother. In that way, it have the diploid condition. For every character, there are two genes. For example, if you discuss about sexual determination of human beings, females have XX chromosomes and males have XY chromosome. Like that, every character in our body is formed, have two genes, right? But only blood groups have three genes, that is IA, IB and I. Like for example, so combinations just discuss. Father has given IA and mother has given I. Then the child will have IA because IA is dominant over I. Both IA and IB are dominant and small I is recessive. Now, second case, mother has IB and father has I. Then the child has the blood group B. Right. Now mother has IA and father has IB. Now here both are dominant. IA and IB are both are dominant. See, for any character there will be two genes, right? I said there will be two genes in which one is dominant and one is recessive. The one which is dominant will be expressed in the offsprings. The one which is recessive will not be expressed. But here both are dominant. That's why the child will have the blood group AB. Right. This is called codominance. A will be dominant over B and B is dominant over A. This phenomena we called it as codominance. Right. Now, father has I and mother also has I. So there are no antigens A and B. That's why the blood group is O. In this way, we'll get the blood groups like A, B, AB and O, right? So this is about the blood groups. And one more thing is, AB blood group has both the antigens A and B. That's why they are called as universal recipients. OR, like they don't have either antigen A or antigen B. That's why they are known as universal donors. AB is known as universal acceptor and O blood group is universal donor as they do not have any antigens, right? So now this ends this discard, right? Let's discuss some questions, okay? Right. Right. So blood is dash tissue. Option A, epithelial tissue. Option B, connective tissue. Option C, muscle tissue. Option D, nerve tissue. Blood is dash tissue. Option A, epithelial tissue. Option B, connective tissue. Option C, muscle tissue. And option D, nerve tissue. So what is blood? Blood is a fluid connective tissue. So this option is correct. Blood is a fluid connective tissue. What is the reason why blood is called as a fluid connective tissue? It is mesodermal in origin and connect all the organ system of the body, as it was circulating all the gases, nutrients, even some hormones also it will transport. That's why blood is called as a connective tissue, right? And especially it is a fluid connective tissue, right? Next one. Sorry, ma. Next question. The fluid part of the blood is called as, even in the diagrammatic representation also I have shown you, the fluid part of the blood is called option A, plasma, option B, platelets, option C, RBC, option D, WBC. What is the fluid part of the blood is called? The fluid part of the blood is called as plasma. Plasma contributes about 55% of the blood. Plasma contributes about 55% of the blood. Next. The next question we'll discuss about. RBC are red in color due to, red blood cells are red in color due to which pigment? Option A, carotene. Option B, hemoglobin. Option C, chlorophyll. Option D, none. RBC are red in color due to option A, carotene. Option B, hemoglobin. Option C. What is that? Option C, chlorophyll. Option D, none. Right. So RBC are red in color due to a red color pigment called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the iron complex protein which can carry oxygen to each and every cell present in our body. Due to the deficiency of hemoglobin, we'll get a disease called anemia. Right. So option B is correct. Right. Next question. The cells which are responsible for immunity are option A, red blood cells, option B, white blood cells, option C, platelets, option D, plasma. Option A, red blood cells, option B, WBC, option C, platelets, option D, plasma. The cells which are responsible for immunity are, so immunity providing cells are white blood cells. White blood cells are also called as leukocytes. White blood cells are also called as leukocytes and they are colorless because they don't have the red color pigment hemoglobin. Right. I will go to the next question. Right. So the cells of the blood which are responsible for clotting, blood clotting are option A, platelets, option B, red blood cells, option C, white blood cells and option D, all. The cells which are responsible for clotting of the blood are option A, platelets, option B, red blood cells, option C, white blood cells, option D, all. So this is what my. So they are what? Platelets. Platelets are responsible for sorry ma, clotting of the blood. Right. Next question. What happened? Right. So we got the question ma. Right. No. Right. Okay. The proteins responsible for clotting of the blood are the proteins responsible for wait ma okay. The proteins responsible for clotting of the blood are option A fibrinogen, option B histamines, option C amines, option D all. The proteins which are responsible for clotting of the blood in the plasma, there are proteins we already discussed, right? 6 to 8% proteins are present, and in that proteins we have totally three types of proteins like fibrinogen, albumins and globulins. In this proteins, the proteins which are responsible for clotting of the blood are option A fibrinogen, option B histamine, option C amine, option D all. So which protein is responsible for clotting of the blood? That is option A fibrinogen, right? Next, the proteins which are responsible for defense mechanism of the body are dash. Option A polymerase, option B glycan, option C globulins, option D all. The proteins which are responsible for defense mechanism of the body, even the plasma also have some proteins which are necessary for defense mechanism. So what are they? Option A polymerase, option B glycan, option C globulins, option D all. So they are globulins, right? Next question. The proteins which help in osmotic balance. Option A tubulin, option B active site, option C albumins, option D none. The proteins which helps in osmotic balance are option A tubulin, option B active site, option C albumins, option D none. So osmotic balance are albumins. So this is osmotic balance, responsible for osmotic balance, that is ion concentration and water concentration was maintained in our body by albumins, right? Next, the factors of blood clotting in plasma are present in, see, plasma we have two factors, that is already we discussed, that is one is fibrinogen and other one is prothrombin. Both are present. And these factors are present in which form? Option A active form, option B inactive form, option C sometimes active and sometimes inactive, option D none. So for the factors of blood clotting in the plasma, we have only two factors in plasma. They are fibrinogen and prothrombin, and these factors are present in which form inside the plasma? Option A active form, option B inactive form, option C they are sometimes active and sometimes inactive, and option D none. So which option is correct, ma? They are always present in inactive form. And one more thing you have to remember, we discussed about the proteins of the plasma. They are fibrinogen, prothrombin, albumins and globulins. They are formed inside the liver, and from liver they enter into the plasma, right? And they were inactive form. Whenever there is an injury, they get converted into active form in the presence of calcium ions and some enzymes into active form, which helps in the clotting of the blood, right? Now today we didn't discuss about the phenomena of clotting of the blood. Tomorrow we'll discuss that, right? Next question. Plasma without clotting factors is called, in the class I have written also, right? Plasma without clotting factors is called option A formed elements, option B serum, option C lymph, option D blood. Plasma without clotting factors is called dash. Option A formed elements, option B serum, option C lymph, option D blood. So that is called serum. So plasma without the factors, clotting factors. How many clotting factors are there in the plasma? Two. They are fibrinogen and prothrombin. Without these clotting factors, we call plasma as serum. Right. Sorry. Next question. the new RBC are formed in. So I already said where the RBC are produced. Option A, liver. Option B, spleen. Option C, red bone marrow. Option D, all. New RBC are formed in option A, liver. Option B, spleen. Option C, red bone marrow. Option D, all. So the option is red bone marrow. I already said we have two types of bone marrows, red bone marrow and yellow bone marrow. Red bone marrow RBC are formed and yellow bone marrow WBC are formed. And even platelets are also formed from bone marrow only. They are special types of cells, megakaryocytes. The special cells present inside the bone marrow will produce these platelets. Right, and yellow bone marrow, the color is yellow due to large number of fat cells. Right, next question. The lifespan of RBC is option A 150 days, option B 130 days, option C 120 days, option D 180 days. What is the lifespan of RBC? Option A 150 days, option B 130 days, option C 120 days, option D 180 days. So what is the correct option, ma? What is the lifespan of RBC? The lifespan of RBC is 120 days. Right. Next question. The graveyard of RBC is, what is called as the graveyard of RBC? I said RBC lifespan is 120 days, right? So after 120 days, where they will go and where they get destroyed, that is called the graveyard. Option A, liver. Option B, spleen. Option C, bone marrow. Option D, all. So which is considered as the graveyard of RBC? That means they, after 120 days they will go there and get destroyed. That's why that organ we called it as graveyard. Option A, liver. Option B, spleen. Option C, bone marrow. Option D, all. So spleen is considered as the graveyard of RBC. Right. Next question. So the nucleated RBC is found in. So generally I said that RBC are without nucleus. The cell without nucleus is RBC. Generally they are non-nucleated, but there are some exceptionals. Some of the organisms have the nucleus. What are they? Option A, snakes. Option B, reptiles. Option C, infants. Option D, all. So the nucleated RBC is found in option A, snakes. Option B, reptiles. Option C, infants. Option D, all. So which option is correct, ma? Option D. See, snakes and reptiles are same, ma. This is birds. Birds, reptiles, infants like fetus, they all have nucleated RBC. Right? Next question. The number of WBC are, I said they are very less in number. When compared to all the formed elements, these are very less in number. Most abundant is WBC, less abundant is most abundant is RBC and less abundant is WBC. So what is their number? Option A 6,000 to 8,000. Option B 6,000 to 7,000. Option C 8,000 to 9,000. Option D 6,000 to 10,000. So which option is correct, ma? What is the number of the WBC? It's 6,000 to 8,000. The number of WBC are 6,000 to 8,000 per cubic millimeter of blood. They are generally short-lived. Right. Next question. So the most abundant cells of WBC are, we have different types of cells in WBC. So the most abundant cells of the WBC are option A, basophils, option B, neutrophils, option C, eosinophils, option D, lymphocytes. What are the most abundant cells of WBC? The most abundant cells of the WBC are option A, basophils, option B, neutrophils, option C, eosinophils, option D, lymphocytes. So the most abundant are neutrophils. The second abundant are lymphocytes. 20%, 20 to 25% are present, lymphocytes. Right. Next question. The less abundant cells in the WBC are option A, basophils, option B, neutrophils, option C, eosinophils, option D, monocytes. The least abundant cells in the WBC are, they are just 0.5 to 1% only. The least abundant cells in the WBC are option A, basophils, option B, neutrophils, option C, eosinophils, option D, monocytes. So which are the less abundant cells of WBC? They are basophils. They are just 0.5 to 1% only. Right. Next. Next question. Dash and dash are phagocytic cells. Option A, monocytes and neutrophils. Option B, lymphocytes and monocytes. Option C, neutrophils and basophils. Option D, eosinophils and basophils. Right. So what cells of the WBC are phagocytic in action? Option A, monocytes and neutrophils. Option B, lymphocytes and monocytes. Option C, neutrophils and basophils. Option D, eosinophils and basophils. So dash are phagocytic cells. Monocytes and neutrophils. Option A correct, ma. Monocytes and neutrophils are phagocytic cells. So what do you mean by phagocytic action? Eating away the foreign organism, that is antigen which was entering into the cell, they will eat away. That action we called it as phagocytic action. That's why these cells are called as phagocytic cells. Next. See, the cells which are involved in inflammatory reactions are option A, neutrophils, option B, basophils, option C, eosinophils, option D, all. Inflammatory reactions means what? Whenever an antigen enters into our body, like it will show, like we have to, the body has to show a symptom. That symptom is inflammatory reactions, like either tissues, something will show inflammation, that we called it as inflammatory reactions. These inflammatory reactions are showing that some foreign organism has entered into our body. So which cells will show these inflammatory reactions? Option A, neutrophils, option B, basophils, option C, eosinophils, option D, all. So which one is correct, ma'am? It's option B. Basophils will show that inflammatory reaction. Ma, this is the reason why doctor suggested you to go for a blood test when you went to a doctor. Right. If you say something, some symptoms, if you say, he asked you to go for a blood test. The reason is the cells present in the blood are showing different symptoms. Like that an antigen enters into our body. Right. Because of that reason, doctor will suggest you to go for a blood test. Right. Next question. The cells which resist the infection and also associated with allergic reactions. Resist infection means does not allow the antigen enter into our body, and if antigen enters into our body, it will show some reaction in the form of allergic reactions like cough, cold, fever. These all are examples of allergic reactions, showing that some antigen has entered into our body. Which cells will show this? Option A, monocytes, option B, lymphocytes, option C, eosinophils, option D, all. Option A, monocytes, option B, lymphocytes, option C, eosinophils, option D, all. The cells which resist infection and also associated with allergic reactions are option A, excuse me, monocytes, option B, lymphocytes, option C, eosinophils, option D, all. So the cells are eosinophils. Eosinophils will resist the infections, that is, does not allow the foreign organism to enter into our body, and they were also, if that enters, they'll show some allergic reactions like fever, cough, cold, sneezing. All these are allergic reactions, ma. So they were caused by eosinophils. Right. Next question. We'll go to next question. The cells responsible for the immune system of our body. We know WBC. In WBC, which cells are responsible for immune system? Immune system means what? Whenever an antigen enters into our body has to produce, in response to that antigen, our body will produce antibodies which will fight against the antigen that enter into our body. That is called immune system. So the cells of the WBC which are responsible for immune system are option A monocytes, option B lymphocytes, option C eosinophils, option D basophils. Option A monocytes, option B lymphocytes, option C eosinophils, option D basophils. So which are responsible for immune system? Lymphocytes are responsible for our immune system. Lymphocytes, we have two types of lymphocytes, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes, which produces antibodies, more number of antibodies which can destroy the antigen and protect our body against different diseases. That's why they are called as immune system of our body. These cells are responsible for immune system of our body. Right, students will discuss the next questions, remaining questions in the next class, that is tomorrow. And tomorrow I will discuss about the blood groups in detail, and I will discuss about coagulation of the blood, the chemistry of coagulation of blood, and tomorrow we'll discuss some more questions which is related to the blood. Right, and I hope you all like the video. So if you like the video, give a big thumbs up. Right, and you want like particularly this lesson we want, madam, and if you want that, please suggest me in the comment section so that I'll explain that lesson and discuss questions which are related to that topic. So in my channel, I try to give a detailed explanation of the concept and questions related to that concept, which is very useful for all the competitive exams. So please, if you like the video, share the video and give a big thumbs up. And if you like, particularly you need a lesson like this concept we did not understand, like this concept we did not understand. So if any such questions are there, please post me in the comment section. So the next time I'll take that lesson, I'll take up that lesson and I'll explain you that lesson only. Right. So I hope you all like the video. Thank you everyone.